Are we live? Yes, we live. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It's not gonna happen in this video, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Please like, share, and subscribe to his channel.
Yes, please subscribe. And while you're subscribing to me, please subscribe to Mrs. Best as well. Any reviews or recaps we don't cover on my channel, it's because we cover on her channel. We do a lot of shows collaboratively together, and she does do shows apart from me as well. And scripted and unscripted, she does a good job on her channel. So you guys make sure you subscribe, especially if you love the shows that we cover. Now that I got the pleasantries, because we don't have a lot to talk about, but we got some irritating conversation that we need to discuss. So I hope you guys are here. This is gonna be a quite of a minute of a video. I usually don't like to do it with this cast particularly, but I got to. American Born is here. Shout out to my AB. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So let's get into the foolishness. So the show opens up on the tail end of Amira and Georgia's conversation. Georgia asked Amira why doesn't she just partner up with Charlie and Omar for the business. And Georgia feels like, no, that's too close for comfort. You want me to work with my ex-boyfriend? No, I would never do that. And I'm sitting over there looking at Georgia like, okay, if he can get the shit off the ground and y'all can do like a contract proceeding, I don't understand what the problem is. Now, what he did to Georgia was messed up. Cut her off, left her stranded in another country. I get where Georgia is coming from. Don't get me wrong, y'all. But I mean, it wasn't a bad idea. But Georgia treating it like one, I was like, okay, Georgia. Hi, Lexi Ling. Glad you're able to make this live. We appreciate you, my love. So, in the midst of it, the boys are in on their way to go to girls' night. So everybody goes to the bathroom, and Georgia is telling Kendall and I believe that was Ava and Riley that she doesn't know what's going on with Amira. She doesn't know really what the issue is. She feels like they're trying to get better, but there's still like some underlying tension. So when Amira comes back, she asks Amira straight up, like, "Is there still an issue between you and I? Like, is there still a problem?" And she goes, "Yeah, there is still an issue, and I guess it's about her boyfriend. I don't remember what her boyfriend's name is. I think it's Kevin, but I could be mistaken. I didn't write it down in my notes because it was irrelevant." And she said, "Yeah, I wanted to know who told you that I was irritated with, you potentially flirting with Kevin." And Georgia says, "Well, here's the thing. I heard it from the grapevines, but also Charlie confirmed it as well." And Amira said, "Really? Charlie confirmed it?" Now, Amira says that she did confide into Charlie about being irritated with the situation, but she didn't think that Charlie was going to go ahead and go and relay that message back to Georgia. Now, I don't know why Amir didn't think they were cool at the time. So why didn't you think he was going to tell Georgia that you had an issue with her, quote unquote, flirting with her boyfriend? Charlie's messy, so I don't know why you thought that. But like Georgia's issues with Charlie's, Amir's issues with Georgia is stupid, especially if you were sitting right there and it didn't go and the flirting didn't go anywhere. Like, as if you had a problem with it, you should have said something right there versus just having an attitude with her later on. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Amira and Georgia's little banter? And do you think that Amira really should be mad about this?
Why is Amira mad? How does this even impact her? Georgia is draining. Georgia is draining. That's all I'm gonna say. Because okay, someone did something to you, but you wasn't really that close with half of these people. The way she tries to make it seem. So I don't know. I feel like Georgia has unrealistic expectations of the people who are part of her social life. She also kind of seems all over the place. Like, I respect her work ethic, but she's always complaining about something. Like last season, this man was someone she was like, "Oh, he's awesome. He's a great businessman. He does this and that." And there were like, I think we talked about it on James's live last season. There's a lot out there about her man being kind of shady in terms of how he does business, allegedly. But I don't know. I just feel like someone who's had a icky reputation she kind of tried to ignore that until that ick came off onto her. I was like, Georgia, nobody cares. Rent is $10,000 in New York. Please find something else to talk about.
No, I agree. Um, the conversation then goes outside. And as they're outside now, Riley at this point has turned. I mean, she is toasted. She is crispy. She done, as we would say back home. She done. Ain't no more that needs to happen. So very playfully, Georgia was like, "Yeah, we need to get some more drinks." And Riley's like, "Yeah, I need a drink. Are you gonna get me a drink?" So Georgia jokingly passes her cup. She goes, "Oh no, I don't want your drink because knowing you, it is probably mixed in with some ketamine." And Georgia looked at her and said, "Wait, where did that come from? Hold on." She goes, "Wait, why would you say that?" And Riley was all like, "I don't know. I just said it. You look like you do." And she goes, "I've never did a drug in front of you. So where did you get that from?" And Riley was all like, "What are you talking about? You're so annoying. Shut up." And George was like, "No, I want to know where you got that from." Riley said, "Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You shut up, Georgia." And started putting her hands all in Georgia's face. Now, Georgia had very great restraint because Georgia didn't flinch. She didn't move. She was confused. And everyone's trying to calm Riley down, especially Ariana. Ariana goes over there, and Gia too. Gia was like, "Listen, that's not the look you want to give her. That's not it. Like, don't do that. Don't do that." And they moved Georgia to the other side of the table where she's now facing Riley. And at this time, the boys come over and everyone's hugging. Riley is just drunk, slurring her words. She's agitated. She's irritated. And Georgia still wants to have the conversation, even though she knows that Riley is not in the right state of mind. And she's like, "I just want to know where she got it from. I don't really care. We need to have this conversation." And meanwhile, Brooks and Ariana are getting pizza because they feel like if Riley eats something, maybe she'll sober up and everything. And as they're getting pizza, they're talking about Charlie showing up the boys' night. I didn't really care because Brooks is taking that way left, and I feel like it's not that big of a deal. I get Charlie was wrong, but Brooks is dragging his issues with Charlie. He really is. So they get back to the table with the pizza, and Ariana hands her the pizza, telling her to eat it. And Georgia is laughing, being playful. She was kind of laughing, and it was agitating Riley even more. And she goes, "Do you want me to hit you with this pizza? Like, I will slap you with this pizza right now. Like, you're being really annoying." And Georgia is still being playful because she doesn't know what's going on. And everyone's trying to calm Riley down. And Riley picks up a drink. And as she picks up the drink, Georgia is still kind of like laughing, joking. And then she claws at the drink as if she was going to throw it at her. And they were like, "Whoa, too far, too far." And at this point, I'm like, "Whoa, somebody has to get Riley out of there because this is not going to go good for her at all." Riley was way over the top. She excuses herself and goes to the bathroom. Her boyfriend calls her. They couldn't really understand what he's saying. She couldn't understand what he was saying. Like, Ava picked up the phone. It was a mess. And then Riley eventually goes home. And Georgia just wanted to know, like, what was that about? Like, all I did was ask her a question. Like, she said something very specific that I know she wouldn't have known. Someone had to have told her this. So it was a huge ass mess. Huge ass mess. I'm going to say it like this. I'm confused. And the reason why I'm confused is because I don't know if they showed the full scene. I don't think, in my humble opinion, and I'm not trying to take up for Riley and I'm not trying to disdain Georgia because I don't really care, but it just seems like something is missing here. Especially when we get to the end of this video, something is missing that I can't quite figure out. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel watching Riley in her drunken stupor and acting activities that she was doing?
Y'all can't pay me to judge a 23-year-old for getting wasted. Okay? And you really can't pay me to judge a 23-year-old African-American woman surrounded by the melanin redacted who threw microaggression after microaggression at her last year on national television. You're not going to get me to feel sorry for how she behaves around these people because they behaved just as bad. Now, Riley was drunk and sloppy last season when her phone went in that water. And she's in her 20s. She should drink. She's going back to school. She's successful. She's getting stuff done. But honestly, I always say this with anybody. You can piss me off drunk. I refuse to argue with anybody who's not sober. I don't care if you're drunk. I don't care if you've smoked something and you high. I'm not arguing with anybody who's not sober. I think it's stupid and foolish of a sober person to argue with someone that you're aware is not in their right state of mind. So it was odd. It was very odd. The only one who really had Riley's back for how she was acting, I'm gonna say Ariana, and what is Damon Dash's daughter name? It's slipping my mind right now.
Ava.
Yeah. Ava was kind of trying with Riley, but Ava had it right. We saw in the last episode, I think towards the end, when Ava and Riley were trying to come together and talk, and Riley was kind of acting off with Ava and telling her, oh, go get me this, go get me that. So, and Ava just looked at her and kind of ignored it because you don't argue with people who are not sober. So while, yes, she's done wrong. I mean, I'm looking on my phone right now, the Jasmine brand reposting Riley Burris right now because she's addressing the backlash and she acknowledged what she did wrong. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure if Georgia and this cast did not throw the microaggressions that they threw at Riley, that she probably would not have acted that way drunk. Drunken mind, sober thoughts. She probably been irritated with these people, but got to work with them. And was looking for a reason. And she could have also been trying to show them, like, yeah, I'm calm and I'm cool, but don't play with me. But control your drinking because you was acting like Mama Joyce, young lady. You looked like her and you was behaving like her. But I don't blame her. I also feel like Georgia does trigger Riley, and Georgia knows it and tries to play and fuck with Riley through, oh, I feel like we get along more when you're drunk. That's offensive to say. And everyone's so focused on the fact that she tried to throw her pizza at her. But if someone said to me that I was easier to get along with when I was drunk, I would be offended too. And if I was drunk, I might have threw my slice at them also. But shout out to Ariana for being an actual friend, because the whole night, Ariana and Ava were trying to get her to drink water. They were trying to put food on her stomach. They were trying to do all of that. But I don't know. Riley's 23. It's a lesson to learn. I think we've all been too drunk at one point. I'm going to give her this one pass. Because we all make mistakes. But Riley, if you do this shit again, I can't defend you. I can't help you. I really cannot. Because at 23 years old, you are able to understand wrong from right, and you're able to connect the actions to consequences and reactions, and maybe she'll learn. But I don't know. I'm still not invested in the season. This was an interesting thing that happened.
Right. Hi, DM Rocks. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Let me see. People on Twitter are saying Riley has a drinking problem. I mean, well, she's 23. Like,
a person that has a drinking problem is not going to come and say, when everyone's going to a party, I'm just going to take some time and go to Atlanta with my family. I'm not drinking because I have an early flight. I don't think the girl has a drinking problem. I think she's young and in her 20s and in the spotlight.
Yeah. Has Georgia had one
was
episode where she
shit-faced last season? Nobody said anything about her potentially having a drinking problem, but the one black person on the cast, the one fully black person on the cast, sorry, Ava, drinks and acts a little hellish towards somebody who was nasty as hell, tried to touch her without washing her hands and doing all this stuff. Like, she's 23. Give it a rest.
We actually found a next gen DC and a next gen LA. Okay. Next gen Atlanta. All right.
If next gen Atlanta's happening, take Riley and Ariana and move them back home.
Right. That's how I feel. Riley seemed like Riley was done.
She was fucked up.
She was. She was. Hey, JB, thank you guys for being here. You guys, make sure you subscribe to JB's channel. You can click his information. It's also, his link is in my description box. Lexi said, Riley was a little scary to me. I would have not continued to sit at that table if I was her. if I was Georgia. I wouldn't either. I would have left. As soon as she started making threats and telling me to shut up, I would have got up because I would have known what this was going to turn into. So, yeah, she does
Really, her
trigger
friend
Riley.
should have been pushing her to go home, or someone should
Right.
have been like, "I'm done. Let's go home." That's what I would have done if I had a friend like that. But
Yeah,
that's why you
absolutely.
got to be
The
careful
moment
what
she
you
picked
drink
up that
with.
pizza and started standing up, that's when I would have got up and left. I'm like, nope, I can't do this. Sorry. She got the wrong person. We all had a
But
night where,
Georgia
like,
kind
Riley,
of
go ahead.
likes to be a victim. It seems like
She
also.
does. Yes, absolutely. I can't be around that, but I get your perspective. Yeah, yeah. I think it was the glass she almost threw that finally made them realize to get her up and get her out of there. It was. I'll never get over not washing her hands. She still probably don't do that to this
That's
day.
the best point anybody could make, Charlene, because I was thinking that the whole time. Candy does not drink. She didn't grow up around a bunch of, like my aunties and mamas and all of them who used to be just getting drunk for fun. Like, if you grow up around a parent that doesn't drink, it's good and bad. Sometimes kids being exposed to things that are negative or that you fear them getting into are actually good for them to see so that they can practice discipline. She's just young and learning to figure it out.
Absolutely. But speaking of candy, so Riley has made headlines because, as New York is full of a million people on one neighborhood. So someone was bound to, spread this information to the blogs, which ended up happening. So they leaked the information to the blogs. It is all over that Riley almost assaulted Georgia with a glass. Now, I remember this in real time when it happened, and we were all like, oh, Lord, what Georgia do? What Georgia do? Now that we saw it, Georgia, I don't think is innocent at all, but I don't think she's 100% guilty either because it did start with Riley, according to filming, what we saw accusing her of doing a drug that may or may not be true. I don't know. Speaking of like Georgia's incidents, which we'll talk about later, maybe it was. Georgia didn't deny it in the moment, so maybe it was. But Candy gives her a phone call and asks her why does she have to hear about Riley acting up in the blogs? Like, what is going on up there? And Riley says she doesn't know. It wasn't her best moment. She doesn't know exactly what happened, but that doesn't mean that she should have did that. She's aware of what happened. Giving Candy politically correct answers, as Candy said in the phone, like, what did you do? And the best thing Riley could have said in the moment, but she didn't say, is, I don't remember what I did. I don't remember what happened. I just remember this was the outcome. So, Riley's like, listen, if something like this, I mean, Candy, not Riley, Candy said, listen, if something like this happened again, you make sure you call me and tell me, prepare me. I don't want seeing my child all in the blogs and stuff. That's not what I sent you up there for. She goes, okay, I'll give you a call, which that's exactly how it should have happened. Like, you need to tell your mama because your mom's a public figure and what you do does represent her. Even though we didn't blame Candy and the mama when it did happen in real time, most people will put this on Candy. So you got to make sure you tell your mama when things like this happen. So I bet it was one of them at the table that called the bloggers. No, he probably was. Clock it AB because Riley ain't famous enough for headlines. She's not.
It's probably Brooke, whatever's daughter, because she's the independent journalist at that table.
I didn't even think about her.
And
That's
she
what
sat there looking disgusted and appalled with Riley, like the most offended of everyone. I feel like it was her.
I think they got in trouble for how Riley was treated last year, so now they have to get back. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, they got roasted. They got Black Twitter came and defended Riley. And I know we have multiple social media platforms, but Black Twitter is really like, they be on it.
They do definitely be on it. Yeah, they 100%. So the next scene Rowan, that's her name. Yeah, Rowan. The next scene we're gonna talk about is Ariana. So Ariana is, you know, baking up some pumpkin banana nut loaf or whatever it was because she's gonna have Liam over, and she tells her roommate that she made a trade with him that if he built this portable closet in her room, that she would ride on the back of his motorcycle. Now, Ariana does like Liam. She does. She thinks he's fun, he's vibrant, And Liam is very, charismatic, and I could definitely see what she sees. I could see it a little bit. So he comes over and he doesn't know what he's doing, which did not shock me because he doesn't look like the type. Even though he has 50 million 11 jobs and a lot of them are physical restraining jobs, I didn't see him being a handyman. I saw him being just kind of somebody, he gives me very jackass, the movie, not the terms. Jackass, the movie, Johnny Knoxville, one of them. He gives me one of those guys. So they're talking, and he asks her, she's available on Sunday because he wants to take her over his parents' house for a birthday dinner. And Ariana was like, well, wait, we haven't even been on the first date yet. And all of a sudden, I got to meet your family and everything. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I would have said no as soon as he said what the event was. I would have said, I think it is too soon to be meeting anybody's family, and I just met you. That is way too soon. There's absolutely no way that would happen. So, but she does agree to go, and he does say that the roommate can come. He would love to entertain him as well, which I like that he's inclusive. I do. I love inclusive people who, don't really care what the person is. They will invite me on their house. I'm not the same way. I don't accept all friends. I'm usually, if I invite you specifically, I need you to come specifically, unless I give you a plus one. And then I have to be in tune with who the plus one is. That's usually how I get down. I don't just invite everybody. So, but that was it. It was a cute scene. They do have a little chemistry. I do see it slightly. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Ariana and Liam's scene with him building her closet and everything?
I agree with AB. He was never going to get that thing done alone. This is where I'm grateful God gave me a husband, because God knew that I would have a furnitureless house if not for that man. They give friend vibes. They give friend vibes. I can understand the appeal in him. He's a cute little melanin redacted boy. However, I inviting a girl to your family so soon, you friend zoning yourself, bro. You're friend zoning yourself. You should have just left it at that ride across the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever the hell it is that they were planning to do. But we know that they're not going to last because, one, he's the rebound guy. The first person you date after you break up is usually the one that won't make it. Like, it usually goes that way. And then separately from that, I think it's too close to home. Like, y'all all being in the same friend group and now dating, but I don't think it'll go nowhere with them. And I wasn't that invested, but the bread looked good.
Yeah, she did a good job. What you say, Ree? And she just was with Hudson at the time. Like, give her a minute.
Let the girl breathe. But aren't her and Hudson back together?
That's what everyone's saying.
I couldn't sleep last night and was scrolling social media, and the next gen people came up, and it said that they are back together now.
I would not go see his family for a single. I wouldn't either. Like, I thought that was
see your family till we're a year in,
right? Or even more, just depending. Like, yeah, that's too soon. So then we move on to Brooks. Now, Brooks is delaying his clothing brand launch that his parents, both Meredith and Seth, have invested in. And his dad sending him text message saying, "Hey, when are you going to launch this? Do you not care about my investment in it? Like, am I not going to get a return?" And Brooks is frustrated. Now, here's my thing about Brooks. And I know I get on Brooks a lot on my channel just because, like I said, I don't understand him being on the show. He's not reality TV-esque. That's not a reality TV-esque person. But my problem with Brooks is, my understanding about him is that he wants to be a stylist. That was my understanding of Brooks. Now, just because you are a stylist does not mean you need to have a clothing line. Does not mean you need to have a brand. You could just simply pick out collections and obtain a Rolodex of a clientele. It does not have to be this complicated. It does not have to be. But maybe I'm missing something.
She's somebody who was just styling people for a very long time. And then she'll put out little pieces of clothing, but she's not gonna. Who's buying this? Brooks, when I look at your fashions, I don't see I don't see stylists. Usually stylists be dressed. I don't get that from Brooks.
No,
Like
I don't
even
get that
Rachel
either.
Zoe on Beverly Hills, she wore them damn caftans episode after episode, but each one was different, colorful. It was her swag. Brooks don't even got a swag. He's so dull.
And he has merch, right? He doesn't even have a line. He has merch. That is merchandise, y'all. That is a whole bunch of shit with his name on.
Because his mommy and daddy are invested in everything. Like, and there's all the kids here come from parents that are well off, but they all seem to have like a really good work ethic in spite of having also, parents that could give them and provide whatever they want. I'm like, both of your parents are investing in your brand and they both calling you irritated. What are you doing? It sounds like he's moving as slow as he talks. I'm just kind of
Absolutely,
over
yeah.
him.
And it was annoying watching him and Meredith on the phone. Mom, I'm just so frustrated because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I had this situation with Charlie, and it's like, I don't want to be around him. And Meredith is like, well, Brooks, you have to be around him because you guys are in the same situation. So I don't understand, like, why you like, look, I just got a text message from Andrew K. And like, I still have to engage with her. So I mean, you're just gonna have to suck it up and be with Charlie. But I just don't know. And I'm just like, oh my fucking god! If y'all do not get them off my screen, why? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I couldn't take that scene. I had to walk out the room. I was like, no, get them off my screens. I don't care. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, he shouldn't be on this show if he's not going to give or be around Charlie. I feel like it was what Charlie said. It was that whole Charlie having an association with that, crypto crime shit that happened in the building. But it get out of my screen. What do y'all say to this? Um, American Born said yes, they are back together. I don't, I think she was better off away from him personally, and I'll get to that later. But yeah. Um, Hi, Vibe. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Brooks' parents are buying his fashions. They buying a whole lot more than fashions, funding the lifestyle. I need to see that business LLC and how much he's actually bringing in on, a 1099 or,
No, we don't need to see that because that would indicate that we care. Take Brooks off of the show. You got interesting people here who are more in tune to the cast. And then his whole thing running off from Charlie. Like, I've never seen somebody be a bitch and a bully all in one. Because you ran away from that man like a little bitch instead of confronting him. And then the problem that he has with Charlie is stupid. But then running away from him was low-key mean. Like, I don't like how Brooks moves. He kind of moves like his mama when I'm thinking of Meredith on Salt Lake City. But at least Meredith, like, I don't be agreeing with her all the time, but at least she has a personality. And if she has a problem with someone and they confront her on it, she will look them in their face and tell them that she is not going to see their point, why she feel the way she feel. And if they argue her down, she's going to disengage. Brooks just, like, why are you on a reality show if you're literally running into New York taxi cabs to avoid confrontation? Like, we're watching
confrontation yeah, it's confrontation that realistically is not there. It's all in his mind. Because Charlie is like, cool, like it is what it is. Like, honestly, this season, I'm not like that put off about Charlie. At least not yet. He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't. And just because Brooks's name was mentioned in the group chat, I'm like, that's what upset you? Just because your name was mentioned because someone asked you to keep their name out your mouth, then stop talking about them. It doesn't warrant like a whole fit.
Y'all don't let this season end and I'm on Charlie's side. Like, please don't, because I didn't like Charlie last season. So please don't let me be on his side because so far he has not done anything. He has not done anything. And I feel like Amira is gonna piss me off next episode. I feel like she is. And and I didn't even mean to watch that, but she did. Meredith gets a trust fund so they can afford to put money into his bet. Meredith gets a trust fund? Ain't Meredith like 107? Why the hell does she still get a trust fund after all this damn time?
That's how it works. If you can make it last and you got the money, it doesn't matter. There's no age limit on those.
No, but I know, but I'm just saying, like, when you think about how old she is, what she's invested into, that caviar, like, that must have been some trust fund.
Probably
Hmm.
was. People
That
make them
must,
last forever and ever.
damn,
Unless you're just
okay.
bad with money.
Go ahead, Meredith, with your renting Airbnbs and New York apartment self. Go ahead, Meredith, girl. I
That's
ain't
how she
mad
can
at you.
afford them rentals.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you, Meredith. I did not know she got a trust fund, y'all. I'm like, oh, okay, Meredith. Shoot, teach me the game. But I don't even like Meredith. But yeah, that's cool, Meredith. Okay. So, the next scene we have is Hudson flying into town on a private jet because y'all know he got a flex getting into the Maybach, and he immediately calls Charlie, and he tells Charlie he's back in town for a little bit, and he got this big ass New York apartment that is empty, so he feels like why should he have to waste the money? He brings his little business associate with him, which I'm like, what business are we opening up with him? I thought he was a trust fund baby, but never mind. It is what it is. Um, so Charlie says, "Yeah, let's hang out." He'll call Shy up, and they'll hang out. So speaking of Shy, Shy is meeting up with Ava and Rowan, and he's talking to them, and he mentions what happened. He doesn't know what happened with Riley. He kind of walked in on the tail end of it, so they're kind of giving him the spiel of what happened. And Ava says, "Well, what happened with Charlie? Because I thought he was with y'all." And he says, "No. Like when I turned around, Liam and Brooks was getting into a cab, and they were like, 'Come on, Chai,' and we were leaving Charlie at the location." So he just never followed. And Ava said, "Well, that's kind of messed up that y'all just left him there." And I said, "Ava, I need you to pick a side of the fence, please. Like, you're supposed to be on the side of your man. What you worried about Charlie for?" But that's neither here nor there. The bigger issue with Shy is that he had went on that double date with Ariana, Liam, and Kendall. And he was saying that he feels bad because he, is building a relationship with Hudson, and he knows that Liam is trying to mac on Ariana. So he feels like he needs to tell Hudson that that's going on. And I was with Ava. I never thought I would say this, but I was with Ava. Shy, that isn't your place to tell Hudson. Y'all are new friends, and you said in this scene that you're closer to Ariana than you are to Hudson. You don't need to tell him. He doesn't need, to me, I'm on the standpoint, Hudson doesn't need to know. They're broken up. It's not like him and Liam are friends. They're not trying to get to know each other. They have not had one scene in this show together, just the two of them. So I feel like that ain't none of Hudson's business if Ariana decides to entertain this guy. But I could be wrong. This is why I'm about to ask Mrs. Best. Do you think that Shy should say anything? Do you think that this is any of Hudson's business if Ariana and Liam would start seeing each other?
Shy's being messy. It don't matter what, like how I look at it. Like if he's doing this to get them back together by sabotaging them, you still messy. And if that's not your reason, then you being messy towards both of them because it's just gonna upset Hudson and it's gonna annoy Ariana that she's being disgusted. She's gonna feel the need to defend her. So I understand why Shy did this, but that's why I don't do friend groups. I'd rather deal with
I
people one on one. Like
you said you understand why he did it. I don't. I'm sorry. I get there is a bro code in this. I totally get it. But at the same time, if I'm closer to the girlfriend than I am the boyfriend,
who were you friends with first? Shy.
Ariana.
That's the thing. If you
Yeah,
was
that's
friends with Ariana first, then your loyalty lies with her. Like
exactly.
James' ex, I was cool with. We probably really could have become very good friends. I don't cling with people like that.
You
But
still can.
I don't know.
I wouldn't
What?
care. I wouldn't
What?
care. Please,
And
I
in the
wouldn't care.
words of the gang members on Kripka, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. Why would you be? If my loyalty is to you, what the hell I look like?
Your loyalty can still be to me, and you can still
No,
be
you
friends
can
with
say
them.
that, but it's the same. If that's the case, then nobody should be upset at Shy for being loyal to Hudson and Ariana.
I'm not
But
upset with Shy.
realistically,
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if I'm with somebody and Like it's one thing to be cool with the person, but it's another to tell my business to that person. That's what I'm saying. There is a line there. I'm not saying you should be friends with my ex and then tell them all my business of what I'm doing.
Uh-uh.
That's not what I'm
I
saying.
just and that's exactly why you can't be friends with people's ex. Because it becomes problematic. They gonna come up at one part or the other. Like Shy just should have been quiet. He should have been quiet.
I agree. That's why I say he shouldn't have said anything. We're gonna talk about that in just one second because Hudson's reaction. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that in just one second. Vibe said Black Twitter clocked in and read the girls and boys. New York City wasn't ready for that timeline today. The memes, the jokes, and the screenshots, y'all stay undefeated. Hashtag Black Twitter. Don't they though? Don't they though? Charlie is an outspoken man on Next Gen NYC. He is privileged to Riley and privileged to. They all are privileged with the exception of Georgia, Shy, and who else? And maybe Amira. Maybe, yeah, maybe a mirror. They all are privileged. All of them. Very much so. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into Alexi Lane because he pissed me off with that. I'm like, okay, I see what Ariana's talking about. Yes, Ariana is on a prized possession, Hudson. 100% agree. Shy should have minded his business. Absolutely. You can be cool with whoever you want to be cool with. Just don't tell my business. I don't care about, like, I honestly would not trip, but just don't say none of my business. Y'all can coexist and be friends without me ever coming up in conversation. Just
Not if you miss his bestest friend. If I got an ex, don't talk to them. I don't give a damn if they from 2008.
oh goodness gracious. But hello everybody. Thank you, Andre Shannon, for being here. We appreciate you. So we're gonna go move on to the meeting of Hudson, Charlie, and Shy. So they're playing pool. Hudson brings his little, business associate, which we don't know what that business is. Hopefully they explain it later on in the season. So they're playing pool and they're catching up and Shy says that, he had went out with Ariana and Liam and he asked him, are you and Liam cool? Like, did you give him the spill? And Hudson said, yeah, I told him, like, if you want to have a cordial relationship with me, you can't be with my ex-girlfriend. That's just not going to happen. Now, that part I respect it because I do agree. He's setting boundaries, that his boundaries are very clear. Listen, if you want a cordial relationship with me, you cannot try to get with my ex-girlfriend. That's just not going to happen. Like, I won't be cool. Completely fine. I had no problem with that. Then he started talking a little bit more, and then that's where I started to reel back in. He goes, and quite frankly, like I don't think he has a chance with her because understand that was my ex. We've been together 10 plus years, and I still love her. She still loves me. It is what it is. Like he should know better. Like he should. I don't even think I don't even think he has a chance with her and everything. And I said, well, ain't that something? Because Hudson, let's make some things very, very clear. Ariana did not lack attraction to that man when she first met him. She actually was very attracted to him, liked his charisma, and actually felt like it could be something there. So you don't know her as well as you think you do. Let's kind of make some things clear. And two, based on how egotistic you sound in this conversation with Shy, I understand why she left your ass. I do. Because to me, when you said look at him and look at me, he trains horses. That goes to show you that just because you have money, that doesn't mean that that's what she's attracted to. She ain't her mama. That works on her mom. That doesn't necessarily work on her. And I see what y'all, and if y'all don't think that that was pathology that he was trying to pull in that moment, y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. So from there, Charlie walks up and Shy's telling him, well, and Shy's having a hard time because he knows he should be saying something right now to this man. So Charlie already knows what the conversation is. He goes, oh, so pretty much you told him that Liam is trying to fuck Ariana. And Shy said, well, not exactly like that, but pretty much. And Hudson said he ain't worried because he know that's not going to happen. So he's not even tripping. And Charlie's like, I feel away, if it was me in my situation. And I'm like, Charlie, shut up. No one's talking about that. But Sean is looking crazy because he doesn't know if he opened up a can of worms or if he just opened up a can of explosion paint. Because pretty soon this is going to circle back to him, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Hudson taking back the information that Liam and Ariana may be in close quarters and talking and having conversations? Like, how did you feel he took that? Uh-oh, do we lose Mrs. Best? Uh-oh. Y'all make sure you like the video. Make sure you okay, so she'll be right, she'll be with us in 1 second. But yeah, Hudson was tripping. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on, y'all, to the next scene. So Riley does send a text message out to Georgia. It wasn't necessarily an apology, it was more so a kind of like, I'm gonna take full accountability. I should not have did what I did, and I hope that we can move forward. Georgia was very graceful about accepting, Riley's accountability and says for sure they could move forward. She goes, there's no problem here. And in her confessional, Georgia said that, she could tell that Riley had had a few drinks and maybe not in the best state of mind. So she definitely can give her some slack this time, which, that was the mature thing to do. She also lets Ariana know that on the night of this party that Shy and Rowan are hosting, she will see them before they go. So we get more into Georgia's story. She meets up with her cousin who's from California. They're very close. Their mothers are sisters. And it just seems like they both come from like a kooky mom set because like they both think that they were abducted by aliens. It was some weird ass shit. But Georgia lets her cousin know that she's been going through a lot. Georgia explains that she has had an eating disorder. She is, had some mental psychotic breaks. She has had lots of things happen to her, in the course of her life that her cousin may or may not have been privileged to. But he's taking it in as she's throwing down the laundry list of things that have happened to her. He's more sorry that she had to deal with a lot of these things alone and not having support. So it was a great conversation. It really does explain a lot about Georgia. Um, how she lacks discipline, how she, you know, is very emotionally withdrawn from life a lot of the times, and why she makes the really interesting decisions that she makes. This did explain a lot for me. I don't know if for y'all if it did, but it explained a lot about Georgia. I still am on the fence with her. I'm not saying I dislike her or like her. I'm still on the fence because there's something about Georgia that is very inauthentic. I don't know what it is, and I'm you know, trying to roll with her. I really am. What'd you say, AB? That whole scene with Georgia, all I could think about was how nasty that water. I'm not doing this with y'all today. I'm not doing this with y'all today. But she do look sweaty and nasty, and like she stinks. She do. I don't know why, but she does. I don't know if Mrs. Best is back from her call yet, but we'll keep the line open. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I'm pretty sure she'll message me.
I'm back, but I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Do you want me to go back to the Hudson thing? Do you have anything to add on that, or you want me to move on?
No, because I don't think it's relevant. They back together. Fix it, Bravo.
She said, "I don't think it's relevant because they bat together." Well, I mean, this because they bat together don't mean what he said wasn't problematic. Like
But they both problematic.
they both problematic. But
They
I just don't
both
like how he
problematic.
used that lifestyle and that money to equate that. That's all she would be interested in. That's kind of what I didn't like.
I mean, she made it clear that part of the reason she wanted to move in with him was because of the lifestyle and money. I mean, he's the child of a billionaire.
Yeah,
And
but
income's
still.
always going to be a thing. But I do think they care about each other in their own toxic type of way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on then, because initially the show got to go. The show got to continue. So the last thing we're going to talk about, because I don't think I have. I mean, there was a thing with Amira and her boyfriend, but that really wasn't nothing anyway. Um. So the last thing we're going to talk about is Riley going over to Ariana's. Now Ariana has over Gia and Rowan because they're all going to get dressed together and wear the. I guess Ariana has all the costumes, so she has the girls over there. So Riley comes over and Riley tells Ariana that she's not going to the Halloween party because she's going to go ahead and go meet up to in Atlanta with her family, and she's not going to, engage. And she tells Ariana that she's a little disappointed that Ariana didn't really have her back the way Riley would have wanted her to, and Ariana feels slighted because she said that she did have Riley's back. We all saw it. We all were there. Riley, you were a little intoxicated, so maybe you just didn't notice. But she said that, I always have my friends back. Like, if this were my friends in Atlanta, none of this stuff would have happened. Like, that situation would have been shut down from the beginning. So Ariana is asking her, well, how could I have handled it better? Like, please let me know because I want to know how to move. And she goes, that's what's so frustrating. You should already know this. You've known me long enough for you to know how I move. And Ariana was like, yeah, but Riley, I thought I did exactly that. I tried to calm the situation down. I took you to the restroom. I said, hey, cut it out. Like, don't do that. Like, she goes, no matter how it's going to look, Ariana, I need you to understand this. It's always going to be different when it comes to me versus all of you. It's always going to look like I'm the aggressor. It's always going to look like I'm the problem. And I just want you guys don't understand how frustrating that is for me. Now, on one according, I understand what Riley is saying because that is true. It is heightened when it comes to her. If this was Georgia drunk and acting the fool, everybody would go, that's just Georgia being Georgia. She's sloppy and foolish. But when it's Riley, she's aggressive, she's dangerous. Even though, Riley, you do have to take into account, you did do some things that were questionable. Regardless of what Georgia said, you should have had self-control. There's no way you should have picked up that piece, act like you were going to slap her, and there's no way you should have picked up that glass. Like, I get what Riley is saying, and Ariana is telling Riley that Georgia wasn't antagonizing you the way you thought she was. Like, she was not doing anything. Like, all she did was ask a question. And as I said, we don't know what fully happened because we know how Bravo likes to cut and splice and edit. So we don't know what the full conversation was. All we do know is that Riley was heavily intoxicated. Riley did, act with physical authority. So we do see that. But we don't know if there was an antagonizing situation that happened. But either way, this is something that Riley's going to have to learn. But I don't feel that her conversation to Ariana was fair because we did see Ariana step up multiple times. We did see Ariana go out and buy the pizza to make sure she got some bread in her stomach. We did see Ariana pull her to the side and try to reason with her, Ava as well, and a part of that, Amira. Amira also had her back too. I won't discredit that. I don't know, like Lexi Lee said here, I don't know what more Ariana could have done. I don't know what more she could have done besides drag Riley out of there by her t-shirt. I don't know what else she could have done. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Riley's conversation with Ariana? Do you think that she was right with how she felt? Do you think it was fair? Or do you think Riley put way too much on Ariana?
Okay, so based on what we saw, because I feel like there was more that the editors left out, I will say that I feel like she put too much on Ariana. Listen, your friends don't have to be perfect in how they support you. All they need to do is make the attempt to support you. For me, I'm a big person on intention. I think if your intention is to help me, if your intention is to support me, then even if you were unable to do that, I should not fault you or make you feel bad. I also feel like Ariana is her only true friend on this cast. None of these other people like Riley. None of these other people want to deal with Riley. And none of these other people, with the exception of maybe Amira and Ava, would even be friends with somebody who looks like Riley. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like Riley is letting a lot of stuff out from last season. Maybe this was filmed closer to like when the season ended and we're just watching it late. But some points Riley said, I do feel like her feelings are valid, and there probably is a strong difference in her friendships that she has in Atlanta compared to her friendships in New York. But I still don't feel that's fair for her to put onto Ariana, just because the people you know in Atlanta you knew for most of your life, and the people that you know in New York are new. So you can't compare your new friends to your old friends. It's not fair. It's not fair to do. But I do think Riley probably wanted to say more and was unable to say more. also because some girls was in the other room. But they'll be fine. We know in real time her and Ariana are okay. I think Riley just got frustrated, and nobody's responsible for you. That's the biggest lesson Riley needs to learn. She shouldn't have drunk that much, especially around, based on what this comment is saying. If you haven't hung out and kicked it with people like that, like I would never get drunk, let alone wasted the way she was. I don't even like to get tipsy around people I don't know. If I'm meeting you for the first time, I prefer to be sober. If you're uncomfortable around people, Riley, don't get so drunk. Like, she just needs to learn from the mistake and move on. But I feel like Ariana was a good friend to her. Ariana and Ava definitely showed that if someone is like in a situation where they're crashing out, that they'll do the right thing instead of focusing on drama. But these are kids to me. She's 23. She's learning. She made a mistake. She's admitted to her mistake. Let's move the fuck on. What else y'all got to give to make the show interesting? Because last season, the only shit that was really interesting involved Riley as well. So what the rest of y'all finna do? Because Georgia, I don't care about you being mad that somebody shady finally did you shady. I don't care about that. Charlie's just gonna lay low this season because of the situation that he's in. Shy or Shay, whatever his name is, he being messy, but he bores me and looks like a freaking freshman in high school that should be on 13 Reasons Why. I feel like the Rowan chick is messy. Brooks is boring. Nobody really likes Gia. Liam ain't gonna be here for long. He just here for a check while he not getting his Law and Order check. And Amira's just kind of there. So I hope Riley gets her shit together and realizes you can't trust these people. These are your colleagues, not your friends.
Agreed. Shout out to my girl, Dr. Jim Bunny, who made it to the live. Thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you so much. Let me see what else that we got in the chat here. Yeah, we all are like, what more could she have done? Like, dang, like that's putting way too much on her. Like, that really was. I didn't think that was fair. Vibe said, I think Riley made a mistake, learned from it, and it's time to move on. She should just tell her mom first so she doesn't find out through the blogs or social media. I agree, Vibe. Right, Mrs. Best. They wouldn't be around Riley, unfortunately. Ava's money ain't touching Riley's money is longer than her via Candy, so she should move as such. Yeah. The show is just not that interesting to me. It's not. It's not. And I think the problem is they're trying to ice out the one person who actually made the show interesting. Like, I didn't like Charlie last season for that shit he did with Riley. I thought that was fucked up. And I thought it showed a lot of, like, classism, a little bit of prejudice. But Charlie was the only person who had a storyline who had drama. And it was surrounding some of the people. He had this on-again, off-again flirtation with Ava. He was really good friends with Amira. Him and Georgia were practically roommates because she kept sleeping on his couch. He was friends with Brooks. And since they're all trying to ice him out, it's realistically getting more because he's the epitome of everybody's storyline on this show.
I think it's because he's unemployed. Everybody else has a real job. And I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe they should focus on like their careers since it's, I don't know how they would fix this show. I don't even think it's like a getting rid of anyone or adding anyone type of deal. I don't know how they fix it.
I know they fix it. They need to have authentic storylines. Stop letting them produce. These little kids, they should not be producing anything. Vibe says social media came down hard already. They did. Maybe she should take a page from her mom's book and stay away from the drinks. I agree. I like watching the Housewife kids that I've seen just grow up over the years. Yeah, I feel like the show has a good concept, but it didn't have to continue beyond season one. That's how I feel. I feel like that was a cute little teaser, but they need to get rid of a lot of these people. Especially, I don't mind them having housewife kids here, but I really feel like Charlie needs to go, Brooks needs to go, Gia needs to go, and honestly, depending on the storyline, I feel like Ava can go too, unless she's willing to talk about these money.
Ava has always been boring. So Ava Dash was on Growing Up Hip Hop on WeTV with her dad, and even with that cast, she's just very boring. Like, I don't have nothing bad to say about her. She's just boring. She barely filmed. She didn't want to interact with them. She's just boring. The same thing how she had with Charlie. She had that with I I can't remember whose kid it was, but there was another boy on there who liked her, who was the child of some hip hop guy that was problematic that she had like a flirting situation with. Similar to Charlie, Ava's just not for reality TV.
He said maybe we don't need a show about housewives, kids. Half the time they're just repeating the same drama and behavior as their parents. Ava
Not
go to
go to
school.
school.
No, I just feel like this cast, they're just not they're not meshing. That's just what it is. The relationships all seem forced, and like I just don't see it. I just don't see the appeal of this cast. I'm gonna keep the show. AB, I know Charlie could definitely go, but he's the only person that's really given, and he ain't even doing nothing. He's everybody's storyline. Without Charlie, I don't think they have a storyline. And as I said, to me, this season he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. So I can't get mad at him right now. We'll see if that changes later on. But as of now, I don't I don't see what the big deal is about Charlie. I really don't. I don't see him doing anything wrong. I don't know why the cast is trying to ice him out. I feel like it's wrong. If he's earned his spot to be here, let him be here. But that's pretty much it, y'all. That was Next Gen. We'll see what next week's episode, happens. Apparently, there's going to be this big confrontation between Amir and Charlie. I can't wait to see it. So that's about it. So we'll see what happens next week. I appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys showing up. Make sure you like the video on your way out. Make sure you leave a comment. Shout out to my replay gang. Make sure y'all like the video. And if replay gang, y'all not subscribed to me, please subscribe. I don't fight. The channel is free 99. Go ahead and subscribe. All you subscribers to me, subscribe to Mrs. Best. Charlie is that older dude. Yes, Dr. Jim Bunny. He is that older dude. Yes. All right. But thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. And I will see you guys on my next live, which will be more than likely on Sunday. That is Bell Collective and Heart and Hustle Houston. Especially Heart and Hustle Houston, since we got some updates about the reunion that I'll share with you guys if you have not been on that video. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.